Hi, my name's Ed Sparks, and today is day 18 for water fasting. As the world's most determined man, I have woke up on day 19 to discuss day 18 with you and my lawyer, who at this point is only 18 pounds lighter than 338 pounds, or however expensive he is, when it comes to doing absolutely nothing but eating. Eating is not a hobby, it's just something that you've done before. And unfortunately, when you're water fasting, you don't really have to care. Like, look, I've eaten that before, I'm all right. I'm sure that in 22 days I can walk and eat it again. Some of us can't do that, and some of us won't do that because paying $25 for a piece of chicken in a restaurant is one thing, but if you're going to do it, it better be a football game or a baseball game or a hockey game or a basketball game where you're around a bunch of people and at least talking and having some conversation besides being in your house. That's the same thing with you do the dishes or pottery or anything else that can possibly be more social. Is about the only reason why you would ever spend any money out of the grocery store, because there's so many tutorials and making the stuff that you want to eat. There's a couple exceptions, but I mean, what do you need? And yesterday I didn't have internet for a majority of the morning and into the afternoon, so I made the call to just go to the beach by myself. So I just walked to the beach. My wife went to church. She's not allowed to go to church more than twice a month, so anytime she goes to church more than twice a month, then I get angry. So now she's going about 5 or 6 times, and that just means that I've revoked some of her privileges because she's just going to turn into a psychopath. And which I get really angry that anyone who's seen the world like she has should already know that people worship all sorts of things for no reason at all, and lots of things that you've encountered in your life can easily be done with some cigarettes. I can do it too. As far as water fasting right now is that it's not a problem for me because I'm in Curacao. We don't have certain things in our water here, but you'll have the smell of water. So the smell of water is very interesting when it comes down to metals in your water, and you'll start smelling it all the time. You'll smell it when you take a shower. You're going to smell it a lot. This time, for some reason, it's not happening to me. Smelling water is a different story. When I'm in the shower before, or anytime I've drank it or anything else. I mean, I still can't smell my wife. She stinks like garlic or whatever she's eating. But as far as before, all I could smell was water because metal and everything. All right, but it could be in reality that I've gotten most of the metal from here into here and somewhere else. So it is possible. I don't know. I think that when you water fast, you're more aware of what's going on. Number 2 is that what you're experiencing, all the alcohol that's coming out of my body, which it's gas or whatever it is, or party favors, that encounters my brain. And you can tell that it only happens with certain fat that's getting rendered right into your energy stream to the point where it's just like certain ones that make you high, really high, and you'll get addicted to it. And it may not be the fact that it's actual energy you're addicted to. It may be the fact that it's just party favors that you grew up to enjoy so much to carry it around. So I don't think I'm going to get out of the large stage on this diet. I still feel like I'm large every single time that I stare at myself. I'm a different weight. So anyway, we were talking about Siberman Sparks, the story of Siberman Sparks, part 7. what it is that I got in a big argument uh, over the Stargate ring, and I got in a fist fight with you. So I was in there with you, and I showed him all the Hydra badges, patches, and swan pens that I had collected in my day, and we had come up with this solution that we didn't know the solution. So I left that particular day and tried to figure out what the solution was to get the spider away from the dragon, because the dragon's a whole different monster. I'm a dragon, right? That happened because I signed up to be a dragon. So at this point, there's only 3 divisions, and lots of crazy stuff are happening. I think people are dying for no reason. It is a military version of the IT department, and they do experiment all day. It's research and development is almost all of it, and production. Do a lot of manufacturing, everything that you've ever seen. Also assists with certain things that you have to do to protect yourself, like even as simple as make pens and pencils. As long as it's American made. So after that, everything went downhill for me. I dropped it out of the better job that I probably ever had in my life, and to go to school. And then I got thrown out of school because I was skinny dipping in a pool, and I told the police I was Bill Clinton when I was drunk. Then that was a bad idea. Don't ever do that, because then I was on probation. Different things happen when you're on probation. So everything was freezing for me a little bit in Cyberman. At this time, just to let you know, the Cyberman force was actually spelled with the C. I changed it. Later on, once I got a little bit of involved, more or less, with erasing stupidity. It was too difficult to tell between cybersecurity and Cyberman security. Cyberman is infrastructure research and development, and cybersecurity is just a bunch of people that get a certification and sit there and do nothing. So at this point, that's more or less what I believe. I mean, there's things that I can do that cybersecurity can do. There's vice versa, but in reality, you have to pass the test. Once you pass the test, you don't have to do that no more. And that's how I feel about it. So my time in West Palm was basically coming to an end. We had to figure out how I was going to, get started in Spider as a class, because they have classes. So I was like, well, I need to go to Spider training and stop being an Oni so much, because I need to progress, because I like to win, right? I mean, I was taking 10, 11 classes a week in college. So, and then I put myself in a college where I could get an accredited degree, and then I got thrown out because it was Christian or whatever. And then I was in handcuffs, and a cop and Doom Squad hit me with an elbow. And I took a black eye. The black eye got me out of. They told me, anything you say, you can't get in trouble for. And then I was like, well, I was in handcuffs and I got nailed by Doom Squad. And they're like, oh, well, you're going to have to come back next year. So PBA, Palm Beach Atlantic, lied in my face. So then I was basically stuck. I was sleeping in my car. I didn't know what I was going to do. The guy who expelled me had to give me gas money to leave. Went back to my parents' house, and then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do at that point. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to start doing other parts of Oni until I could get everything going. what had happened was is that my family members, um, my family members had a family member that had a business in spider territory. So I was like, well, this is my chance. So uh, I'm gonna go hillbilly spider and go up with the Tennessee boys and see what's going on. So that was the next thing that really happened in that timeline. Not that anyone cares, but once we got all the high spider together, uh, things start happening. That's when you have a lot of fun when you're in class and you're with a bunch of people like you. Um, we were working night shifts and and went to Hawaii, we went to Canada, we went to Pennsylvania, Iowa a few times, Illinois, Michigan. Uh, we went to Naples. Um, we drove to Texas a few times, and then eventually Georgia, all those places, everywhere in between. We're constantly driving, constantly going other places together. Lots and lots of fist fights in Hawaii. We were in over 30 fist fights. Uh, uh, some little girl tried to rob me, and I didn't even understand what was happening at the time. Um, I was walking down the road with the cowboy hat on, and she was like, I just turn around. She got her hands in my pocket. I was like, I'm sorry, miss, right? I'm sorry, miss. Are you trying to rob me, right? I was like, are you trying to rob me right now, right? And her boyfriend was standing behind her, and I was like, is there any way we can avoid this? And she was like, oh, tough guy, huh, cowboy? Now this isn't an armed robbery, just with a fist fight. And I said, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'll hit a girl, you know. She was like, it's like, oh, tough guy, huh? And I was like, all right. It's like, give me 1 second. I reached down, took my cowboy hat off. I should have took my watch off too, but I didn't. Um, and I said, all right. I was like, where do you want me to hit you? And she just went like this, right here. And before her uh, finger hit her nose, I had knocked her out completely. And then I dropped the boyfriend within four milliseconds. It was just simple. And then I tried to get him to stop swinging because really, in reality, he didn't try to rob me in my mind. I'm like, dude, this woman's going to really, really seriously do some damage. People are screaming because it's the middle of Honolulu. There's no way you can't see somebody's watching what's going on. And then we got like 100 fist fights. We got in a fist fight on a plane to Hawaii, where John Tucker would not stop tapping me on the back of my head, and I hit him with my Sprint phone. I just turned around and hit him across the face with my Sprint phone, and then that caused an entire fist fight on an airplane in the air between about 6 of us. We were all frogging along. Now, when I had said that Angus was hitting me with somebody else's arm, it turned out that they call that frogging law, where you put your finger like this to frog somebody, which really hurts, by the way, and then somebody else does it for you with your arm. So after we were fighting, but everybody was also frogging lawing us at the same time while we were fighting. So we're really fighting about 11, 12 people. And Chunk T was about 200 pounds heavier than all of us. So he had to put me on top of the plane It's hard to fight me, bro. Hard to fight a couple of them. So he had to put me on the roof of the plane in order to stop frogging law and everybody at the same time while I was fighting John Tucker. And then John Tucker caused another fight in the Pub and Suds. If you look up Honolulu, we were in Pub and Suds because after work it's open at 6 a.m. So at Pub and Suds, it's a 24-hour laundromat that has a full bar in it. And TVs, everything else, it's a sports bar. And got in a huge fist fight. A couple of people were Shawshanked at gunpoint in Hawaii. John Tucker started sleeping with the wife of one of the owners, and then I got in trouble for it. And then it was kind of complicated because we're still in the South and still pretty religious. So I'm the only one that never played that game. I never really cared what they thought about me. Working, doing a lot of different stuff, but we'd organized that pretty good to the point where Oni had kind of taken control of what was going on, and we were being trained for other things at the same time. But you know, they can do whatever they want, so a lot of them just got high all day. I mean, I'm assuming I did too. Just not the same. I always like to go to work anyway. Anyway, I think those are good stories. Probably didn't know. Water fasting is about drinking water. If you can't water fast for 18 days, I just don't know. What do you expect to do? Eat celery? You can see right now on day 18 for you is 54 meals. And if you accumulate a third of a meal overeating every time you eat, then it will take 54 days to start gaining weight right now. So you push on, you do your 35, and then you go back to doing whatever. I mean, your social game's not really that damaged. If somebody, I mean, there's obviously times where you would not hold your water fast, but I mean, you're not going about to eat dinner with the senator or anything, or parliament or something, or representative or the mayor invites you over to the house, and that's what you do. But Jimbob is not the mayor. You can hang out with Jimbob in a couple of weeks. So you've already done it before. I mean, you already know what that stuff tastes like, feels like, everything else. So anyway, that was for Alec, and you all have a great day.